Picture a woman in her 40s with stage 4 uterine cancer. The disease has already spread to her pelvis and liver. Yet, instead of resting, she spends every night working grueling shifts at a local convenience store. She isn't working to pay her own medical bills. She is destroying what is left of her health to keep her bankrupt father's business afloat. At the exact same time, she has completely abandoned her own husband and signed away custody of her only daughter. She essentially appointed herself as her father's personal enforcer. She would spend days tracking down his debtors, showing up at their homes and screaming at them until they paid up. By the time she returned to her own house, she was completely drained, leaving her marriage to fracture and end in divorce. Most people would look at this and see a misguided attempt at being a good daughter. But the pioneering psychotherapist Bert Hellinger categorized this exact behavior differently. He called it blind love, an unconscious, obsessive drive to absorb a parent's suffering. This level of extreme devotion is entirely pathological. By sacrificing her own family to rescue her parent, she created an emotional entanglement that actively reverses the natural, forward momentum of human life. To unravel this, she entered a treatment known as family constellation therapy. This practice uses a group of physical stand-ins to physically map out the invisible, unspoken emotional ties dictating a patient's life. The therapist instructed her to look directly into the eyes of a man standing in for her father. She was told to acknowledge the natural hierarchy of generations by saying, "You are big and I am small." Then came the crucial instruction. She was asked to say, "I take your love and I leave you to go my own way." When she hit the word leave, she choked. Tears poured down her face and she violently struggled to push the words out of her mouth. That intense physical block revealed the exact source of her emotional damage. She was completely paralyzed inside the identity of a dependent daughter, entirely incapable of stepping into her reality as an adult. This dynamic violates a psychological principle known as the order of love. Think of healthy family energy like gravity. It is supposed to flow cleanly and smoothly downward, from the parent to the child. By treating her father as a vulnerable dependent that she had to protect and save, she forced that current to run backward. This unnatural reversal created a massive psychological dam. The physician and author Dr. Christiane Northrup theorizes that these specific emotional blockages often find a direct physical location to manifest inside the human body. In somatic psychology, the uterus symbolizes life, creation, and the joy of motherhood. These are the exact energies this patient aggressively pushed away when she chose to remain her father's child instead of raising her own daughter. She existed in a state completely devoid of creative, forward-moving energy. Stripped of its psychological and biological purpose, the organ simply became an empty site for disease to take root. This diagram shows cellular differentiation. Life begins as a cluster of embryonic cells that divide, branch out, and take on specialized roles. This journey from a fused cluster to a separated, mature cell mirrors the human journey. We leave parents to form independent lives. But cancer cells do the exact opposite. They are mature adult cells that abandon specialized functions and actively regress into an erratic, undifferentiated embryonic state. Her psychological refusal to separate from her father matched the exact biological definition of her disease. Both her mind and her cells were aggressively regressing to an infantile fused state. Back in the therapy room, after intense prompting from the group, she finally broke through her mental block. She looked at the proxy, cried, and clearly stated that she was leaving her father to live her own life. Following that session, her perspective shifted. She felt genuine remorse for ignoring her husband and a deep desire to see her daughter again. Shortly after she accepted her independence, her doctors reported a rapid, surprising improvement in her stage 4 cancer. True physical and mental health rely on the same natural law. We have to completely separate from where we started so we can finally grow into who we are meant to be.